Hi friends, let me introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Philia NPM 1901010023. Here I will tell you what the narrative text is with example. Number one, the notion of narrative text is a non-fiction story that can be in the form of fairy tales, myths, folklore, animal story, and so on. The purpose of narrative text. The purpose of narrative text is to entertain the reader with story that is made in such a way that is interesting. General structure of narrative text. Number one, orientation. Orientation is the initial paragraph that contains an introduction to the characters involved in the incident in action. It also contains the place and time so that in orientation contains number one, who is characters, number two, time, number three, place, number two, complication consists of paragraphs. Complication consists of paragraph that explain the beginning of the event of or occurrence. The beginning of the event become a series of storylines that continued to conflict, climax, and anticlimax. Complication usually contains in the interaction of the actors of characters in the story, interaction that the lead on the conflict. The three conflict that can be used, namely, number one, natural conflict, conflict between universe of natural. Number two, social conflict, conflict between actors of characters. Number three, conflict in occurs in the mind or self. Number three, resolution. The final part of story is called the resolution. In action, the is the settlement makes the storylines and every problem the race must of solution. It can be happily or sadly. Characteristic of the narrative text. Narrative text has the following language characteristic or the features. Number one, using the past tense. Number two, adverb of time. Number three, conjunction of the time. Number four, specific characteristic. Number five, action verb. Number six, direct sentence. Nah, types of narrative text. Number one, a fable. Fable, stories and that tell about animals. Number two, myth. Myth, the story of myth is readily developed in society and is generally considered to be a factual story and actual happened. Three, legend. Legend, folklore that tells of origin of place exist. Number four, folk tale, a story that is told from generation to generation, so that it becomes a part of the community as tradition. Number five, fairy tales, folk tales of children's stories which contain elements of magic or impossible towards the characteristic of the story and contains a moral message. Number six, love story. Love story impairs the time of the story which contains struck the love of the main characters. In addition, there are other types such as science fiction, horror, mystery, history, slice of life, personal experience. The example, the narrative text, the legend of Maling Kundang. A long time ago, in a small village near to Bis, West Sumatra, a woman, her son lived. They were Maling Kundang and her mother. Her mother was a single parent because Maling Kundang's father he passed away when I was a baby. Malin Kundang had to live hard as a mother. Malin was healthy, diligent, strong boy. His family went to sea to watch a peace. After getting his story bring it to mother, or sold a cod fish in town. One day, when Malin was sailing, he saw Americans ship with a being right by small band of pirates. He helped the American with a brave and power. Malin defeat and the pirates. The American was so happy and cannot hand to him. In the return, American asked Malin to sail with him to get a better life. Malin agreed. He left his mother alone. Many years later, Malin became wealthy. He had a hook ship and a helped and many ship crews loading trade goods perfectly. He has a beautiful wife too. When we were sailing his the training journey, a ship landed on a beach near a small village. The village recognized him. The news ran across the town. Malin has become rich and now he is here. An old woman ran to a beach to meet new the American. So was Malin mother. She wanted to him release and sadness of being lonely after so long time. Unfortunately, their mother came Malin who was involved in the well, their wife and sheep Chris announced a meeting that on lonely woman, who 3 times her mother begat Malin and her 3 times yelled at her. At last Malin said to an old woman, I have never had a mother like you, a dirty and ugly woman. After the other with across the steel cell, we would live to mother again, but in the time she was full of both sadness and agriness. Finally, Sir C. Korsman that we would turn in into stone if the Dean apologized. Malin just like and really set sail. In the quest, he suddenly a truth storm came. His hacked ship was a recruit and was to leave of Malin to Appalachian. He was thrown by to wave about of a ship. He fell on small island. It's really too late for him to uphold his course. Suddenly, he thrown in stone. The moral of Malin fairy tales the obligation to respect parents, starting from oppressing to loving a seal must down parents in state or life or death. Thank you.